Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. Today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Liberal minion Minister of Immigration Mark Miller announced that they would be reducing the federal immigration target within the next 2 years. It is all hypothetical. Nobody knows what the hard numbers will be. The only reason this government is doing this and making these stupid announcements is because they're hoping that it will elevate them in the polls, which it won't. It's David Eby's strategy in British Columbia. If you're not winning because you're liberal, well, then act conservative, and then hopefully it'll save you. It is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to watch a short clip with Mark Miller, talk about it, and you will see how ridiculous and just how incompetent this government is. They do not live in the same world as us. They are royals through their eyes. They are the ruling class. And then I got a short clip with Pierre Poilievre absolutely destroying what Mark Miller said. But first, I want to show you kind of this street interview. It's the best interview I've seen from a liberal, kind of giving us a glimpse to the inside of these stupid caucus meetings that they have. Now, this is in regard to Justin Trudeau announcing today that he plans on staying on as Liberal leader. And what this interview shows is it explains and shows exactly what we all know, is Justin Trudeau is like a supreme narcissist. He thinks that he is the chosen one, that he is the only one that sees this perfect sunny ways utopia. It's like he believes that he is a visionary, a futurist, that only he sees it, nobody else does. So he refuses to leave. But for the rest of us, he's just straight up a narcissist and absolutely delusional. Listen to this.
How are you going to do that, though?
Did the Prime Minister take enough time to decide on whether he should stay or go? Do you feel he took enough time to reflect?
No, I don't. But I don't think that he felt that he needed to reflect at all. I think his mind was made up.
What do you make of that?
Disappointing.
So what does this mean for you next?
Well, what it means for me is that this is a decision that he had every right to make, and he made it. I did my job by voicing what I was hearing from my constituents, and now I've got to take my energy and direct them to winning my seat, and not on internal party matters. As far as I'm concerned, it's closed.
Do you think, though, the Prime Minister listened to what he was told yesterday?
Yes, I know he did. I was in the room. Yes.
So how do you?
Yes, he absolutely did.
So if he listened, how does it 18 hours later he still declares he's staying? How do you square that?
He listened, but he wasn't swayed. There's he felt very strongly. Our views weren't the only ones, and like I say, it was a decision that he had the right to make. I don't think that having this feeding frenzy for another 2 or 3 days would have helped anyone if his mind was made up anyway. So that's that. It is what it is. It's time. Well, me personally, I'm moving on. There's been so much energy burned on all of this, and that isn't where it needs to be now that this case is clearly closed.
What happens next with the dissenters in the caucus who don't agree that this case is closed?
I can only tell you what happens next for this dissenter, and I just did. I'm going to focus on winning my seat, and not on this. Do you think, and the others will have to speak for themselves.
Do you think, though, is there some way forward with the Prime Minister? I mean, there has to be. I'm just sort of wondering, is he seeing something that you're not seeing? Or is he being delusional and thinking that he can win this thing?
I wouldn't call it delusional, but he's seeing something that I don't see, that my constituents don't see.
Is there any market amongst the people you're talking to? Is there any way for him to rehabilitate his brand and get people to listen to him again?
They don't think so. That's what I'm getting. But maybe they're wrong. And maybe he's wrong.
What do you make of his explanation that he thinks he's the best candidate? What do you make of what you heard from the Prime Minister? He thinks he's the chosen one.
It's remarkably consistent.
Do you worry that, I don't know, some MPs in the caucus might take more drastic steps, like, I don't know, voting in a confidence vote, like, or maybe even sitting as an independent, and that might, like, what would that do to the party? Do you worry about like those things? Like more desperate.
I would hope that my colleagues have better judgment than that. Voting non-confidence in the government now plunges the country into another decade of darkness with the Conservatives. That's what it does. Running as an independent splits the vote and has the same result. To a person, every single colleague that I've talked to thinks that Pierre Poilievre in the Prime Minister's office would be a bad thing. Anything that we do that makes that more likely is dumb.
Pierre Poilievre said today that Liberals have approached him and his caucus looking to vote with the Conservatives. I think he said on the carbon tax, but presumably on a confidence motion. Do you believe him? Do you think that's actually happening?
I don't believe it for 1 second. It's like so many other things he says.
It's unbelievable that they think that Pierre Poilievre is such a big liar. Like, I don't see it. I really don't. I have yet to see example after example of Pierre Poilievre just straight up lying. There is always truth to whatever it is that he is saying or he has done. But I guess he hasn't really had the opportunity to do anything. But so far, they keep on lying about him, saying he doesn't have a platform. He does have a platform. They keep on saying he doesn't have a plan for climate change. He does have a plan for climate change. So if anything, it's always the Liberals saying that he's a liar when in actuality, he is not. And what else is strange and astounding is these Liberal ministers don't realize that Justin Trudeau considers himself a ruling class even over his own party. His mind is made up. He doesn't care what they have to say. He's not taking it into account because he doesn't have to. He changed like the rules of the Liberal Party that they cannot remove Justin Trudeau. They can't remove the Prime Minister. He gagged them. He rewrote like the Liberal Constitution and the playbook for his benefit. It's like the movie, the sitcom The Boys. He is Homelander. He is the ultimate narcissist. He wakes up in the morning and tells himself, I am the son of Pierre Trudeau. I am the ultimate politician. These are all just Liberal ministers. These are minions. That is what they are. People literally elected a wedding party to lead a country, and they are all laughing. That is what is going on right now. They can talk to Justin Trudeau and raise concerns all they want. He doesn't care. He is the chosen one. All of his buddies are the bazillionaire investors globally, all around the world, giving him advice right now. That is who is running the government. That's why the paper shredders in Ottawa right now have twin turbos on them, and they are absolutely mowing down piles and piles and piles of documents. And he's got his own IT tech team at whatever country, eliminating and deleting emails he's just destroying paper trails that all lead to him with all these corruptions and scandals. He does not care because he doesn't have to. What he sees is probably a black swan event or something that is going to happen within the next few months. Who knows? He is being told, do not resign, do not move, just business as usual. He does not care. Case in point, listen to what a member of his wedding party has to say, Mark Miller. It's unreal.
Mr. Miller, public opinion data suggests that Canadians are beginning to sour on immigration. There was a recent poll from Abacus that showed 50% of people think immigration is actually harming the country. Is today's announcement an admission that high immigration levels were a large contributor to the ongoing cost of living crisis?
Look, as I've said before, it is easy to blame immigrants for everything. It is also undeniable that the volume of migration has contributed to affordability, but there's some nuance there. To what degree, to what extent? You can't go around saying that all the ills of society are caused by immigration. It doesn't make sense, but we've heard certain provincial premiers say that. It's unfair, it's unresponsible, it's actually damaging to the economy, including the same consensus that we're talking about today. No denying as well that consensus is under challenge and threat in countries like Canada. And we're lucky to have parties that aren't outwardly hostile towards immigrants currently. I think it's very important to keep that consensus because you can say it's under threat, but if you're on the sidelines playing footsies with people with extreme views, I think that shows through. Or if you're using it and weaponizing it during an election cycle to your own benefit, and often you see that backfire, well, that continues to attack the consensus. I'm really glad that in the latest Environics poll that went into a little more detail than the Abacus poll did, that you see still positive views towards immigration, but questions about the volume, and legitimate questions about the volume. And I think that's fair. The Prime Minister acknowledged that that volume is one that you can certainly question, and the decisions that were made to increase that. But there are benefits that came with that. So this isn't black and white. It's about an important cohort of the population that come here with great hope and contribute to the Canadian dream. They will continue to do so. This is still an ambitious plan, but it's a reasonable one that puts more control back into the federal hands to make sure that we are properly steering that population in a way that immigrant population in a way that's reasonable and fair to all Canadians and the immigrant groups that are coming in. I mean, some of the attitudes we hear are from more recent groups of Canadians that align with Canadians that have been here a little longer. So it's not about one group against the other. It's a consensus that does get challenged, but I think we still have it, and we need to fight hard to preserve it. And sorry to speak so long, but I actually care about this. You see what happens when that consensus erodes. Countries that we have perhaps looked up to in the past. My family is part Swedish, and you see what's happening there. You see what's happening, for example, in Germany, and I think that is something. It's a lesson for us, and you see what's happening to the south of us, and that's a lesson for us to learn, and we have to constantly fight for it. My biggest reproach with chambers of commerce and with groups that have benefited very much from immigration, when I meet with them, they're all telling me, including provinces, that they want more control over immigration, is that you have to stop fighting for it, because we've all gotten lazy about the value of immigration to Canada, and I think it's something that we need to realize, let it absorb, and continue to fight for it. At the same time, I'm not going to call people names that have been questioning the volume. The reality is that volume is one that on this particular point of time has been very aggressive. It's contributed to keeping us out of a recession, but it's come with some challenges, and that's why I think today's plan is responsible fundamentally.
And so this is a perfect example of why you don't elect a wedding party. He is saying that this government was so oblivious to not even realize the damage of bringing in over 2 million people. He had no idea that it would collapse all of the pillars of society, like healthcare, the crime, the chaos, education, housing. He had no idea. This is a learning experience again. That's what he is saying. Oh, we're learning from Germany now and what's going on down south, so we have to pump the brakes and stop. He's admitting that they are so incompetent. He had no idea what would happen if Canada increased its population by over 2 million people in a few years. It truly is astounding. I've been reporting on our quality of life in Canada and productivity. TD Bank and RBC Royal Bank sent out statements saying that the quality of life is continually going down for Canadians because of productivity. And it is all linked to high levels of immigration. There is a lot of people here. They are not working to contribute. So therefore, it is putting a strain on the kitty that holds all of the money from taxpayer dollars. So the only way to support all of these people doing nothing is to increase taxes, because productivity is still falling. Doug Ford talked about this. He said, you people need to get off your ass and get a job, because there are jobs out there. You need to start contributing to taxes. You need to start paying taxes so we can support all of our social programs. They are so incompetent. They did not know or even think that that would happen. What do you think Canada would look like right now if we brought in 2 million Swedes, or if we brought in 2 million Germans? The landscape in Canada would look drastically different. And the crime and the chaos, especially the hate crimes, probably wouldn't exist, because they all have something in common with the native population that is already in here. When I say native population, I mean the populations that have been here, of people that have been born here. There are graphs that you can look up for the population in Canada of people that are not born here right now. And in the last 2 years, it's crazy, the number, which is why we're seeing so much indifference in opinion and in government and in absolutely everything in society. It's unreal. Listen to Pierre Poilievre, trash. Minion Minister Mark Miller. My God.
The announcement this morning says that they're going to cap permanent residents, but they're going to draw for the coming years from the temporary residents that are here. People coming in on the temporary foreign workers program or the student program, they wouldn't necessarily be passing the point system that we've used for decades. So I'd like your thoughts on that, and also, are they able to make these changes when the legislature has effectively been shut down for weeks and it shows no sign? Is this just a regulatory change as far as you know, or do they have to put it through Parliament?
No, they won't do it. And yes, they do need to put these changes through Parliament. Trudeau has paralyzed Parliament by refusing the Speaker's order to hand over criminal evidence in the RCMP's investigation into the $400 million green slush fund scandal. As for the people who've come here as international students that Trudeau let in record-smashing numbers without housing, jobs, admissions letters to real educational institutions, or money to pay their bills, I don't know what's going to happen to them. He claims he's going to be kicking some of them out. He'll never do that. And he can't even control our borders. We can't expect that Justin Trudeau will keep any of these frantic, panicked, last-minute promises that he's making to reverse his earlier decisions, that he's making now when his own MPs in the Liberal Party are trying to fire him in an election year. He is a panicked, incompetent, failed Prime Minister who is not worth the cost, the chaos, and the corruption.
This is all about creating a uniparty. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, just ask yourself why. Why is all of this happening? And go back a few years and study a little bit of history. And it is all, especially California, this is all about creating a uniparty, destabilization, infiltration, yada, yada, yada. It's a spider. It's a web. It's got tentacles, and it just shoots out all over the place. And it's intentional. This is a planned demolition of a once properly functioning country. It is unbelievable what is going on right now, online, offline, and in healthcare, in education, all our infrastructure, absolutely everything, our quality of life. It's crazy that we go out in this world and we see it for what it is, and then these politicians get behind the microphone and they spew out some different reality that they expect us to believe, and it is all a circus and a show. I'll keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care. And Bill C-293, this pandemic response bill, Alberta, I'm watching it right now. Alberta is responding, saying the same old. Ottawa is infringing on our constitution. Just bullshit. We need to stop. All roads lead to independence. We shouldn't even be talking to Ottawa. We should be controlling our own destiny. That is what we should be doing over here in the West. Like, share, and take care.